More than perhaps any genre, sports games are released alongside a barrage of developer speak. FIFA 18 is no different. At a preview event, we were given a 40-minute walkthrough of jargon and bluster, but crucially, we then got to play several matches of the game's exhibition and journey modes. That gave us an actual point of comparison with last year's entry, FIFA 17, and with that in mind, I present 5 features that will actually make a difference in this year's FIFA. Movement on the ball is probably the hardest thing for football game devs to capture correctly. It's almost as hard to explain. I suppose the easiest way to put this is that in most football games, I feel as though the best way to beat a man is to modulate pace. You jog up, trap the ball, shift position, burst pass, rinse and repeat. Within a few minutes of playing FIFA 18, simply using the left stick actually felt both easier and more natural. Regular movement now feels immediately responsive. Players naturally twist, tap and squirm as you do the same on the analog stick without the long animation-related delays of the last game. The best players feel beautifully mobile when you're using them and horribly elusive when you're in defense. But there's no doubt that movement feels different almost immediately. In a basic sense, The Journey's second season, or the hilariously dramatic The Journey Hunter's Return, as we're supposed to call it, is a simple continuation of the first FIFA story mode. Boy done good Alex Hunter is back, and through the miracle of safe transfers, is beginning his next chapter with your chosen club. EA's touting the main change as the fact that you can now customize Alex, gearing him up with the best sports casual clubber and a ludicrous haircut. It's also hinted at sections where you play as different characters, and nodded towards the lure of football outside of England with the inclusion of Cristiano Ronaldo as a voiced character. To me though, it's the change in tone that feels different. The first Journey was all about being in the ascendancy, a no-mark kid rising up the ranks, overcoming the sheer horrifying ignominy of having to maybe play for Aston Villa for a bit, to become loved by the nation. In my hands-on of the sequel, the first thing that happens to Alex is that 60,000 people boo his being subbed onto the pitch. There's a pantomime thrill to the idea of being a footballing hate figure and seeing how that plays out, and I'm very much hoping that that's the crux of Hunter's return. FIFA's shot for authenticity with its stadia before, of course, the right look, the right chance, but this time they're aiming for something less tangible, the right feeling. That's pushed for partly by making clear the differences between different countries' approaches to watching the game. South American crowds, for example, are peppered with gigantic multi-tier flags, their stadiums lit to look warmer and more humid than their Western European counterparts. The crowds themselves now feel more like a group of people than the bacterial uniform 2D sprites they once did. They'll swarm towards celebrating players, even climbing over seats to get to a prime hugging position. It looks almost unnerving compared to the stately, respectful crowds of old. Playing FIFA with friends almost always means foregoing substitutes because of flow-breaking menus and complex ethics disputes about when it's cool to press pause. FIFA 18's solution is remarkably simple. As games wear on, any break in play will see an unobtrusive bar pop up in the corner, suggesting a possible substitute, perhaps to replace a tiring winger or a yellow-carded defender. Hold the right trigger, press X, and the sub immediately comes on. The developers promised that an algorithm is working out who's ripest for swapping, but the players can also set preferred subs before matches or in the edit menus. This sounds excellent, although anecdotally when my hands-on partner tried to set a preferred sub, he accidentally put Cesc Fabregas in goal for Chelsea without realising, and I absolutely smashed him. Make of that what you will. Engine improvements are perhaps the most nebulous developer promises we're given each year, but EA has gone some way towards proving that its second year with Frostbite has really made a difference. During our presentation, a picture of Chelsea's Eden Hazard in FIFA 17 was flashed up, followed by the same player in FIFA 18, and the crowd actually gasped. Much is made every year of FIFA's perceived style over substance philosophy, but it's impossible to deny that there's some real substance to the style this time. FIFA 18's instant replay feature looks more like Uncharted 4's photo mode at this point, with beautiful lighting and depth of field effects playing across pitches full of immaculately sculpted, sweaty people. We'll have much more about FIFA 18 coming from you from E3, but in the meantime, if you want to check out more FIFA, you can see the reveal trailer of FIFA 18 or our review of FIFA 17 from last year to see what we got and what we're changing to.